That's better. Nice and comfy. Oh, hello there. My name is Zach. Do I know you from somewhere? What's your name? Ah yes, now I remember. You're here to listen to me read, aren't you? Well, I'm going to read you one of the main tales of my own writing. The Tales of the Greatest Heroes Throughout the Worlds and Ages, Volume 2. And I'm going to read you Khan the Werewolf Fighter. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's about to begin. Although, I should just warn you, if you've got young children, you may want to have them supervised if they're going to be watching this. Just a bit of friendly advice. Anyway, let's begin. Khan the Werewolf Fighter. Khan sat at his home with his dog Sam sitting beside him. Khan was a big and muscular man with a stubby beard, darkish brown hair, green eyes, and hands as big as the middle of a shield. Khan was also a werewolf fighter. He fought werewolves for money. He usually fought werewolves that attacked villages, towns, farms, and even holds. He fights werewolves very differently to normal men. Instead of fighting with swords or other weapons, he fought them with his bare hands. He is immune to the bite of and attack of a werewolf because he takes a potion that makes him immune and gives him the strength of a werewolf. His assignments were usually delivered to him by messengers, villagers, guards, or jarls of the holds. He hadn't had an assignment in 3 days. He had spent that time working out and making armour and weapons. He was a blacksmith in his spare time and a cage fighter. He lived in the Rift. His home was outside the Hold capital, Riften. He had lived there all of his life. His father was a blacksmith and his mother was a barmaid. His house was known as Honeyside. His family had lived there for 20 generations, ever since his ancestors came to Skyrim, all the way from Hammerfell. He didn't have a wife. 2 of his 4 brothers had left to go to High Rock to help the Bretons, and 3 of his 4 sisters went to Cyrodiil to see the Empire. His last sister had gone to the College of Winterhold to study Magicka with the great mage Emrys, and his last 2 brothers and 3 cousins had gone to Windhelm to join the Stormcloak Rebellion. He had stayed in the Rift because he loved his family home, and Skyrim was his home now. His family were natives of Hammerfell, which are the Redguard. Khan got up and walked to the front doors. He had heard a knock at the door. He opened it to see a Rift guard standing there with a scroll of parchment in his hand. "Mr. Khan, sir?" he said. He asked the guard nervously. "Yes, there is no need to be scared. I am not a giant. I am a normal Redguard." "Do you have an assignment for me?" Khan said in his deep, calm voice. The guard looked 18 years of age. No wonder he was frightened of him. He held the scroll out with a shaking hand. Khan took the parchment, opened it, and read it. "Dear Khan of Honeyside, our village has been attacked by a pack of 3 werewolves for 4 weeks now. They have been coming at night, killing guards, eating our livestock, and attacking villagers. We are defenseless and we need help. We will pay you 5,000 gold. Please help us. Bayard the Wise, Head of Rorikstead. Khan looked at the parchment, then back at the guard. I'll be on my way to Rorikstead. I will have to pack my equipment, rations, and clothes, and get at my horse and dog, Khan said in his deep, smooth voice. The guard nodded and walked back to Riften. Khan walked back into the house. His housemaid, Joel, walked over to him. "What was that all about, my lord?" Joel asked. Khan showed her the parchment. She nodded and went to pack his bags for the journey and job. 2.5 weeks later, Khan was riding to Rorikstead with Sam trotting at his side. He had been riding for days. Rorikstead was now 5 minutes away. "Now, Sam, when we get to the head of the village, behave yourself," Khan said to Sam as he rode on his horse. Sam barked his understanding. They arrived at the village of Rorikstead. It was quiet with less villagers, guards and livestock. Khan looked at the faces of the locals as they watched him ride to the stables to tie up his horse. "Can I help you, sir?" asked the stableman. "Yes, I'm here to see the head of the village. He called for my assistance in dealing with the werewolf problem," Khan said as he gave the stableman 5 gold to look after his horse. The man rubbed his long grey beard and pointed at the big house. "That's his residence," he said. Khan walked to the door of the manor. 2 guards raised their hands. "Halt! What business do you have here?" asked the guard on the right. I'm here about the werewolves attacking the village at night," Khan said. The guards opened the door and Khan walked in. Khan walked into the great hall of the manor. The head of Rorikstead sat in a chair by the fireplace. His grey hair and beard looked ragged. His gold and silver robes glittered in the firelight. Khan walked over to him. "My name is Khan. I'm here about the werewolves who are terrorizing your village," he said. The head looked up at him. His old grey face was covered with scars from what looked like the Great War. His dark green eyes bored into Khan. "I am glad you came, my son. My name is Bayard the Wise. I have been head of Rorikstead for 67 years. I've been getting old and frail ever since I came back from the Great War 44 years ago. I'm not the same soldier I once was. I'm old and tired. I cannot fight these werewolves and I need your help," he said in an old and frail voice. He gestured for Khan to sit down with him. Khan sat in front of him on the second armchair. "When did this happen?" Khan asked Bayard. Bayard took a deep breath and began. "It began 6 weeks ago. One night we heard howling through the valley. The next morning we found livestock missing, villagers injured, and some of our guards ripped apart and devoured." Bayard coughed. "Sorry, my old age. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The guards that survived the night told us everything. 3 werewolves attacked the village, stole some of our livestock, attacked some villagers, and the guards tried to stop them, but some were killed and torn to shreds, and some were injured and others dragged away. We don't know what happens to them, but they never return. Bayard stopped abruptly. Khan took his shaking hand. I promise you, my lord, I will stop these werewolves from attacking your village, Khan said in his deep, calm and kind voice. Khan is such a nice man, isn't he? We need more people like him in the world. At sunset, Khan was getting ready to fight the werewolves. He pulled out the vial of potion, gave some to Sam, and drank the rest. Ready, Sam? He asked the dog. Sam barked 3 times as if to say, Yes, I am. Khan nodded and waited for the sun to go down. Then, as the moon went high in the sky, the howling rang through the valley. Then he saw 3 werewolves charging into the village. One went left, one went right, and the last one charged at Khan. The werewolf lunged at Khan just 1 minute before he delivered a right hook that connected with the beast's jaw and knocked it to the ground. Sam was on it in seconds. Then the werewolf from the right knocked Khan off his feet and they crashed to the ground. It was a mass of fists, teeth and claws. Khan punched the werewolf in the snout and it yelped in pain and fell off him. He got to his feet and raised his fists to fight. Sam was in a mass of teeth and claws with the first werewolf. Then it threw Sam off. Then the third werewolf charged at Khan. He grabbed it by the jaws and wrestled it to the ground. A guard ran to Khan but was slashed by one of the werewolves. Khan kicked out at the beast, sending it crashing to the floor. The werewolves got up and formed a pack of 3. Khan and Sam formed a pack of 2. And they charged at each other. Khan fought 2 beasts and Sam fought 1. You'll admit, Khan is quite strong, isn't he? Fighting 2 werewolves at once. Khan grabbed 1 werewolf while fighting another, while Sam wrestled with the last werewolf. Khan threw the first werewolf to the floor to take care of the one he was holding away. He grabbed the thing's head and twisted it round quickly. There was a loud crack, and it fell, and the beast fell to the floor. It was dead. 1 down, 2 more, and 2 to go, Khan mumbled to himself. He turned to see Sam struggling with the werewolf and ran to help him. He kicked the werewolf in the side and sent it flying into the wall of a homestead. He grabbed a piece of wood, and as the werewolf charged at him, he swung the wood so hard it smashed into the thing's jaw and killed it instantly. Then they both turned to the final werewolf. The werewolf charged at Khan and Khan ran at it, grabbed it by the jaws and wrestled with it. He grabbed the werewolf and threw it against a fence post. The fence broke, letting the cows loose. The werewolf got up and charged at Khan and tackled him to the ground. Then Khan grabbed the werewolf by the throat and threw it at a broken log. The spear end went straight through the beast and killed it. The fight was over and the werewolves were slayed. The next morning, the villagers were celebrating the death of the werewolf menace. The tavern was filled with people. Bayard the Wise gave Khan a mid-sized sack filled with 5,000 gold. "Will you be going back home now?" Bayard asked. Khan nodded. "If you ever need my help, I will come," Khan said. Then, after the party, he saddled his horse and went back to Honeyside, with Sam trotting at his heels, to wait until his next assignment. The end. I hope you liked that story, and if you do, please leave a comment down below, and also let me know if you want to hear more stories of Khan the Werewolf Fighter. And for the meantime, may the Force be with you to infinity and beyond. Bye bye.